I'm exactly the same way in person. Like I just say things just come out. So like what you get on Facebook is what you're gonna get in person. All right, let's do it.
All right. Hey man, what is it, Justin?
Yes.
How do you like say your entire name? Like Justin Garrick. Sounds like some dude from like the 16th century. Garrick
So
Knight.
the actually Garrick was supposed to be my original first name. My mom loved the name Garrick, but my dad said my biological father said it was too feminine. And so he wanted Justin. So my mom compromised to call me Justin Garrick. So she gets the name Garrick in there. And then Jensen is the last name of my stepfather because my biological father is weird. He has never been like a dad to me. Like, it's not like I don't hate the guy at all. I love the guy. I hope the best for him. But my last name is going to be who my real father is, which was my stepdad or is my stepdad.
What's your stepdad's last name? Garrick?
Jensen.
Jensen?
Yeah, Garrick is my middle name.
Oh, okay. So Justin, Garrick, Jensen.
Yeah.
Cool. So where are you from, man?
I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. Well, like I live in Edmonton, Alberta, but originally from this place called McGrath, Alberta, which is a very small town, 2,000 people.
Ooh,
let's just
like
so I'm from
with each other there.
Now everyone knew each other, and it's a very small town. It's in this area in Canada, southern Alberta, with all these small towns by each other, full of Mormons, and so this area is literally the Utah of Canada.
Yeah.
So so you guys have Utah, we have southern Alberta.
That's a pretty good way to look at it. How far away is Canada from the United States, from where I'm at, in a sense? Like,
where are you from again?
How far is the border? I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so I don't know from that area, but like I'm from my province, Alberta, is borderline with
New York.
What's it called? Montana.
Oof, that's far.
Yeah. So like I'm on the west side of Canada. So yeah, where our borders with Montana, and yeah.
That seems like it'll take like a 48-hour drive.
Not comparatively far, not like terribly long drive from where I used to live because I was from Southern Alberta. Yeah. So like I was an hour away from Montana. I never been to Montana, but I was an hour away from Montana. Not even, probably 45 minutes, but I was close to Montana, but I've never been to Montana.
Why'd you move?
Sorry?
Why'd you move? Why'd you move?
Moved to Edmonton for a change in my life to start start my new business, create different atmosphere. When I lived in my small town, it was beside a city called Lethbridge. So Lethbridge is a small city of 100,000 people. And in that area, I was very comfortable with where I was living. I wasn't expressing myself to go in different directions. It was very comfortable living. I just felt unhappy. And I wanted to change that. So I moved to the bigger city of over 1 million people and change atmosphere, culture. And it's kind of like you're out of your comfort zone. So you start getting these questions that you never thought to ask yourself, and it helps you grow as a person. So it's kind of like the ability of me to take something, move, and answer questions I never asked myself, see myself from a different point of view, et cetera, et cetera. And it was a growing experience that I needed, and I would not have gotten if I stayed in my hometown.
Interesting. So what are some questions that you ask yourself prior to the move?
Like, who am I as a person? I think as a young adult, that was a big question. I was in my mid-20s when I moved. So it was like, what am I doing? Where's my life going? Who am I supposed to be? And because I felt like when I was a teenager, it's like you expected your life to be all put together by the time you're like 22, 23. And then I was like 25, moving up to this big city. I still don't know how to put my life together. It was a learning experience, a learning curve that I needed a adjust myself, get in rhythm, and understand what I need to do to achieve myself, to grow, to conquer goals, to figure out what path I need to take to progress myself into a better position than I was before I moved away from Lethbridge or McGrath area.
Nice. That's a pretty good way to look at it. I would love to do the same one of these days, but with the whole COVID issue, it seems like it's a little bit difficult to do. But it's been a bit crazy. I've been living in. Sorry, I've been living in Pennsylvania for a long period of time, and I kind of just want to get out, trying to find a way out. And when I do, it's gonna be great. And I honestly can't wait. But yeah, man. So those are all some pretty good stuff that you got going on there. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm not the most interesting person, I guess.
I don't think anyone ever is until they kind of start getting a little bit deeper into like, oh, there's all this stuff that's cool about me. Like, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah. So I guess first and foremost, I bodybuild. I think that's probably the reason why you do this podcast with people in fitness or competing. So I enjoy that. I'm a straightforward person. I don't have a filter. I think you probably guessed that from my Facebook posts. And
oh yeah, those are some good fucking times.
there's no filter on me.
Yeah.
And I'm exactly the same way in person. Like, I just say things just come out. So like what you get on Facebook is what you're gonna get in person.
Actually kind of perfect.
Sorry?
I said that's actually kind of perfect.
Yeah. I think that's what you want to be. I don't think you want to be two different people. Like, you're going to say something on social media. Like, I'm going to say the same thing in person. So don't worry. I'm very politically active. I enjoy politics. So I say state a lot of my opinions about politics. I was a competitive dancer for many years before I became into bodybuilding. And then I was quite well in that area. Like, I was winning shows all the time, and so I guess that's why I can create such good posing routines, because I have such a great dance background. I'm a massage therapist full time, and it's a great career because I get to hang around with a lot of people. I love working on athletes, but I also love working on people with clinical conditions, such as fibromyalgia, pes planus, you just name it, all over it. Like, actually, for me, even like I'm bodybuilder, I enjoy my bodybuilding clients. I prefer working with more clinical issues because I find there's so much science and gnarly stuff to help these people out to get better and healthier and figure out how to handle their chronic conditions and stuff. And it's always more joy in my heart because you find more opportunities with these people with clinical conditions. Excuse me.
You're good.
And yeah, I guess that's basically it. I'm pretty religious. I'm Christian. So just, I guess, the typical me.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Being religious is always a good thing. It's always like a good guidepost for one's life to kind of give them a purpose, in a sense, something to motivate them towards of a higher power.
Oh yeah, well, I'm heavily in my beliefs. I'm very heavy about it. I'm a strong believer. There's nothing, like, I don't try to weaken myself in any way to what I believe because what people think or what people say or how people feel. It's like, this is what I believe. I'm sorry. If it makes you feel bad, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's a pretty good way to go on about it. I mean, you can't really, you have your own personal beliefs that you believe in. For someone else to come out of their way to just be like, you're wrong that you believe in that. It's like, yo, dude, you're a dick. Go away.
Well, I think people don't realize that this is such a society norm. Is like, when people disagree, they automatically think it's offensive. They automatically get emotional about it. And it's like, just because someone disagrees with you or has a has an issue or has an issue with a certain thing does not mean they dislike you, or it doesn't mean they hate you. It literally means like we just disagree, but that's okay. I still want to get along with you. I still want you to do well. You're still a fellow human, and goes on. But in our society, it's almost like you cannot disagree, or you're like this like terrible human.
Mm.
And I don't think that's a motive we should have in our society. I think we should be more respectful about people. Like, it's great to learn from others and why people believe so different things. It's called conversation, and it's great to learn and have a good conversation with people. But nowadays, people get mad if you just disagree. It's not like you don't even have to say anything hatred. You say I disagree. It's almost like you stab them with a knife.
It's like that situation where it's just like, oh yeah, you don't like me, bro? 1v1 me, mate. Kind of. It's literally what it is. Like, so you agree with me or you fight me. I'm like, okay, dude.
Okay, Karen.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Karen, like, go down there for a second. So in terms of religion, when did that started?
2013, after my appendix rupture.
Interesting. Did that have any motivation towards starting a new leaf towards religion, or has it
I
always?
was I was in a different religion before that. I had Christian styles of beliefs, but I was very new agey. So I was involved in a lot of new agey practices and stuff prior to my appendix. And for me, it was not good. It was like, no, that's not right when I became Christian. But it was like a mode of emotion emotion and actions that came to me to be like, Christianity is the way, because I was it was like he was a terrible rupture. So I was was living in Lethbridge at the time, but I went up to Edmonton, the city I currently live in now. But this was vacation. This was back in 2013. So I never thought I'd move up to Edmonton back then. But anyways, I was up in Edmonton. I was going to a Reba McEntire concert, hanging out with my cousins. We had a great time. And Edmonton's about 5 hours away from Lethbridge. But me and my cousins were north of Edmonton, about an hour and 10 minutes from Edmonton, because it was cheaper to stay on the farm of our family friend's farm than to stay in a hotel a week. Go figure. So we stayed on this beautiful ranch. We ride horses, blah blah blah. Then we went to leave, and I was dropping my cousin off in a town called Red Deer, which is on the way back to Lethbridge. And when I got to Edmonton, I started feeling woozy. It was kind of like that sickness. You feel like, I'm a little hungry, I'm a little thirsty. That probably should help my stomach. And I ate something, drank something. But by the time I got to Red Deer, I felt a lot worse. And I didn't tell my cousin. I was just like, I just want to get home, because I'm that kind of person. I'm very stubborn. So I dropped my cousin off, and I go to a grocery store, go into the bathroom, and put my finger up my throat and hit my uvula to make myself throw up. And I kept driving, and every 30 minutes I was throwing up, whether it was purpose or I felt like I needed to throw up, so I purposely made myself throw up. Mm-hmm. So whether it was just going to come out automatically, or I was going to throw up and force myself to throw up. And then my face started swelling. So my eyes started shut, and it was crazy. Like, I had these huge swells, but slits in my eyes. And to top that off, the biggest rainstorm of the summer. So it was July, huge thunder lightning storm I was driving in, and I felt so sick. So I got to this city called Calgary, which was an hour and a half away from Red Deer, and called my mom. My mom's like, "You need to stop in a hotel." I'm like, "There's somebody telling me I should not be in a hotel. I should not go to a hotel. I need to get home." So I drove past Calgary, continue this sickness. It just got worse and worse. And then instead of going over to my parents' house, I stopped in Lethbridge at my grandparents'. Got to my grandparents, passed out on the floor about half hour, 45 minutes after I got to my grandparents. Ouch. My appendix exploded. So I had to be rushed to the hospital, and it was the worst case of appendicitis they ever seen. It was bad. And so I was there for over a week trying to get all the poisons out, because it was terrible. And that kind of opened me up, because I felt like God was really like affecting on my life, like helping me, basically Jesus take the wheel kind of deal. Because I don't know how I drove. I didn't know how I got in a car accident. I was sick. My eyes were swelling. My face was swelling. I was in a storm. And I just had the moment. I need to get home. I get to my grandparents' house, throw down on the floor of the appendicitis attack. And my I knew if I stayed in a hospital, I'll be dead right now because I hate hospitals. I refuse to go to hospitals. But when your grandparents are like, you're either jumping in the car to go to the hospital, or you're paying for your own ambulance. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay for an ambulance. It's $550. No way. And that's what changed my life in perspective. So I started researching and studying after that. And a lot of time in the hospital, what else do you do besides go in the bathroom and avoiding their hospital food?
Yeah, it seem to be the worst kind of things they can give you, even though they rake millions. But whatever, it is what it is.
And it's Canada, right? I'm in Canada. Like I pay all this money to healthcare. Why am I not getting a decent damn meal?
Right? You would think, but that's the price for health, I guess.
Well, you guys are different. You guys don't have like what we have. You have universal health care. And I'm like, why is I paying all this money my universal health care? Like so much taxes go to universal health care, and I can't get a true eggs. Like, you're not giving me real eggs. Like, give me like this eggs that look like they came from an easy bake oven. Are you serious?
Are you serious? Like, what the fuck? Right? I feel like Americans don't know how good they have
it. Yeah.
But it's hard for them to, because they've never been outside of America. So it's a little bit of a different perspective. With finding religion and being more in faith with the event that happened with your appendix, how do you feel?
I feel better than I ever have. Like ever since then, it was a life-changing experience. And not saying like my life is perfect or I have like the best days ever. Of course, I have terrible days. I mean, we're human.
Yeah.
And human life can suck sometimes. And I would first admit that. Like, my life's not perfect. I'm not perfect by all means. I fail stuff all the time. I have depression days because something happened that I didn't want to happen. I'm human. It happens. But all in all, there's a lot of confidence in my life. There's a lot of good things, and I'm happy to where I'm going with it.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you ask for? That's basically what everyone strives to have in their life and what they want it to be. So
yeah.
You seem like you're doing really good. Well, you're in a better position than before, which is always a good thing. It's always good to kind of continuously being the better version of yourself. Great to hear, man. I'm happy that you were able to find that. When it comes to like you said, you did some dancing. What got you into that?
Oh, that, like, I was always a very artistic person. I always liked watching musicals as a kid, and I started getting involved with things. I started getting involved with shows, and then I really, really wanted to train myself to be on Sleeping Dance Canada. And so I in my preteens, I started getting involved more in my dance classes until I was a young adult. And by the time I was old enough to do audition for Sleeping Dance Canada, they canceled the show because for some reason they decided to make on the fourth season they decided to have the Canadian version and the American version at the same time.
Yeah.
And truth be told, a lot of people like the American version better because Nigel Lithgow is hilarious, and a lot of people like Nigel. And as a judge, it makes the show more entertaining. That's what I believe. And Mary Murphy too. Everyone likes Mary Murphy. And so by the time I was like, oh crap, I can't audition now. But I always wanted to perform and get involved with like dancing professionally. But I was talked out of it by so many people because, oh, it's so hard. The competition is so hard. You're good, but what if this person's better? Like, can you get a job if you go to Vancouver to dance, perform? Are you gonna get a job if you go to New York and blah, blah, blah? So like all this negativity started piling up on me, and I decided to pull away from the idea that I'm gonna be professionally dancing, which is okay. Like, I love my life now, no doubt about it. But I still have some regrets in not pursuing something and seeing I have opportunities to go after this, or opportunities to try this out, et cetera, et cetera. So it was always been a passion of mine. I do enjoy it. I still do it. I do teach still. Like I do some classes here and there because I still have a passion for it. And I still love it. In fact, a lot of competitors in bodybuilding and fitness have asked me to choreograph their posing routines because they don't have much posing experience. Well, they have posing experience, but they don't know how to flow a good routine together because they want that edge. And there's a good routine when you see on stage needs that edge. It needs personality. It needs lines. It needs symmetry. It needs lines and words going from one pose to another pose. So it's me being helping them to make a flow movement to show off their physique fully. And so there's opportunities still in dance style when it comes to the bodybuilding lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Which is nice. How many clients do you say that you have for their posing, dancing routine thingy that they try to get together?
I had a few last year helping with the routines for their shows. This year, of course, has been very minimal due to COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll become more as shows get back in the scene, as people start prepping more, getting involved with this. I don't know what I was going to say, but getting back involvement when it comes to getting ready for a show, etc. I think just this year, a lot of people find it a total write-off, and they're like, they have no purpose to go on stage this year, in their opinion.
Yeah,
So,
100%. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are feeling that way. But I also feel like there's some individuals out there who are willing to be like, okay, whatever, it's the year, I got to do it anyways, and they still do it, which is pretty nice. But yes, this entire year has been rather interesting, to say the least. So it's been a little crazy. I understand that you do have some political beliefs here and there. Would you mind enlightening me on some of those political beliefs?
political beliefs.
Yeah. Or like your political perspective is with everything that is currently going on.
Well, American, I'm Republican. And Canadian, I'm conservative. Same thing, but
Yeah.
I have a big trouble with mainstream media. They usually, I'm a very strong critical thinker. I think there's a lot of things we're going to just talk. There's a lot of things mainstream media is describing that is not completely on point, and they're putting things on to make people more fearful about this whole thing going on versus being critical thinkers or finding strategy or finding hope. And that's a big issue for me is come mainstream media, not just because they lie all the time, but also because they lack that empathy to give hope to people. It's like, be scared, be scared, be scared. Okay, but where's the hope? Where's the opportunity? Where's the hope? Where's the duration that something good's going to come soon? They don't give that. So my political views when it comes to a lot of things is, I guess it's COVID-19. I believe it's real, of course, sickness and illnesses. I just believe it's overhyped by mainstream media in a lot of ways. And it's like they're teaching people that there's only one way to die, and that's COVID-19, and how death is brand new. And it's like they're trying to prevent death by there's all these restrictions and stuff with COVID-19, even though death happens. We can't control it. We're all going to die eventually, some way, some form, somehow. And it's like, and I feel like a lot of people have this idea like, oh, we don't want to die, we don't want to die. So they're so scared of everything going on, and they're not being able to get themselves to live. They're not pushing themselves to grow as a person, not seeing the opportunity, and realizing that life is going to end eventually. Our lives are eventually going to end. But when you hold yourself so far back because you have this fear, you're not doing anything. And I'm not saying be stupid about how to handle this virus, but I say don't live in fear about it. And you can do that with like just intelligence. Like I sanitize my hands. I do what I need to do, but I don't let myself live in such fear from mainstream media and from the points that it's crossing when it comes to the when it comes to this virus, or how they're presenting it and how they want to utilize it for the sake of control, etc. I do think it's a control element. I think a lot of factors when it comes to this whole thing is involved with elite practices to see how well they can control the people and put people in this position. Oh yeah, scared. Oh yeah, scared. Oh yeah, scared. And from a biblical perspective, I feel like this is a conditioning step into the end times when the Antichrist comes in to rule, and that's when the one world government, one world religion, and one world economy progresses and forms. And we've been talking about this. Even like people who are not involved in religion, they're worried about, oh my gosh, New World Order, which New World Order is complete from talk about in like 5 books of the Bible, quite in depth. And so like I do believe the New World Order is going to come. I believe this is a tactic because, and yeah, people are dying, and that's so sad. But the thing is, people want
I
control
love
and
how you
power.
said that so nonchalantly. Yeah, people are dying. That's so sad. But that's
But
essentially what it really is.
it's not like I'm not trying to be heartless, right?
Yeah.
But it's death is not uncommon. Every 4 to 7 seconds, someone dies on this planet, and it's and I guess it's real, but like, but I feel but the people who are trying to control and trying to make power out of this and abusing a virus for power hungry tripping or power tripping, whatever, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, they're power hungry. They're using it, and they're abusing it for the sake of trying to control people. And they don't care who dies. They don't care. It's because their plan is to have control. They want elitist style control. And I think there's a lot with that with Bill Gates, et cetera, et cetera. I know this sounds conspiracy theory. I know some people are like, oh, I hate this person because he doesn't believe what mainstream media says, or he's just acting like all this is a hoax. Like I
But
never
at
said
the
it was a
same
hoax.
time, it's also stupid and asinine to believe everything that mainstream media says.
Exactly. And I don't, and I want to be a critical thinker. So I've been researching a lot. I've been studying things. I've been looking things up. I don't just believe what I believe. I think there's an element of you have to be a critical thinker. Find articles. Look at doctors. There are doctors who say they have found cures, they found help, they found good things that get shunned by mainstream media, get shunned off Facebook because the view is not relevant to their narrative. And I don't think that's right. And because we're talking about freedom of speech, there has to be something. There's been proof that people have gotten good results from these doctors who don't follow the mainstream media narrative. And I'm just like I just question how people um, I just question how people interpret that. It's like they don't want to do the research. They just want to listen to whatever media tells them, whatever politicians tell them, without being a critical thinker. And I think you should be a critical thinker. And to a lot of people nowadays, critical thinking means you're a conspiracy theorist. And I was like, well, I'm a conspiracy theorist because I want to think for myself and want to study things. I want to question whatever I'm being told. Call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't really care. Um, but I think there's an element, like you have to question things because like Bill Gates a couple years ago says, vaccines are great to help depopularize the world. And now he wants to save humankind from COVID-19.
Seems very counterproductive, huh?
Yeah, it's questionable. It's a very questionable statement. Um, and then you have like all these things that it's just like all those roundabout things going on. Like, well, let's look at the sex trafficking and stuff. That's $150 billion industry that mainstream media is silent upon, doesn't talk about it, doesn't talk about how every 30 seconds a child in America disappears, but you must wear a mask because you're all going to die of COVID-19. So there's all these questions like, why is this not relevant? But you're making a whole big mass statement, and then you're causing people to hate people who don't wear masks all the time, et cetera, et cetera. So like, it's just like, I think you have to have the element of thinking and like, why does this person say this and now is doing this? Why are they presenting this but blocking it? And I think it's just how you have to. I think it's good to be a critical thinker and question everything you're getting shown, and read things, research things, and you find, and that's how I found out more about COVID-19. And like, I think at the beginning of this whole virus lockdown back in March, I think we've all had an element of fear, different levels, but I think we all have the element because it's so brand new. And then after 2 weeks gone by, I started really questioning it. And I was never really scared from the beginning. I always felt something was fishy from the beginning. And then I just kept like reiterating and going through things and presenting my cases with different things like, oh, I call it, that's what's going to happen. They're going to make lies about how many people have died. Oh, look, someone died with this condition, but they said COVID-19. Someone died in a motorcycle accident, but said COVID-19, which happened. In Florida, it happened just recently. Someone got in a motorcycle accident, and they reported as COVID-19 death. And so how do you, and then how do you form proper analysis with this? And then you have miscounted numbers, which has been proven. Multiple sources have shown that there's places, these clinics, everyone tested positive, and then they realize our numbers are completely whacked off. So that's why you have these high like positive cases and things like that. And you also, another thing you have with this is that people always talk about how many positive cases we have instead of talking about how the death rates are dropping.
And how many recoveries.
Sorry?
And how many people have recovered.
And how many people recovered.
Which they never talk about.
Yeah. Well, it's like, they just don't want to, they don't present good. They don't represent good or hope. Like that's why let's go back to my hope statement. They don't present hope. They're just like, oh, look, there's a spike. Like in my city in Edmonton, they last week they said on radio station, I can't remember which radio station, but they said, oh, there's a huge spike in Edmonton. 4 cases. 4 cases was a huge spike in Edmonton. And I was like, okay.
That's a lot. 4 cases. Yeah, it's weird.
4 cases in a city of 1.3 million people. It's like, okay.
But for me personally, I agree with everything you say. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I like to play like the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Like, let's say everything the media is saying is true. Like, what should we do? Like
what should we do?
They have all these things in place. Should we just always wear a mask, whether we're outside or we're inside or we're in our car or we're driving? Should we always like hand sanitize our hands and do whatever that we want? Should we like not touch people and stay away from them? It's like, why do we even go grocery shopping so here's how I think there are 2 different avenues of COVID, or the way that people think COVID exists. Mm-hmm. There are those who realize it's not bullshit, it's there, but it's just not as much as we think it is.
Yeah.
And you have a camp of people who literally think if they go outside, it's like fucking Chernobyl. That's why they wear the whole mask thing and stuff like that, because they literally think going outside or anywhere else, it's like Chernobyl.
I had a neighbor go outside of his house, and I'm like coming out my door at the same time, so I'm watching this. Gets outside, puts his mask on his porch, walks down the sidewalk, goes to his mailbox, turns the key, grabs his mail, locks his key, goes back to his house, takes off his mask. And I was like, there's no one around him. He was across the street from me, so I'm way over 6 feet or 2 meters away from him. But walks down with a whole mask, grabs his mail, goes back, takes off his mask at home. And I'm like, you realize the sun is not giving you COVID-19. You know that, right? But I think if mainstream media was right, I think we would see people fall on the streets of death, and like how they push it, right? I think in America and Canada, we will see people falling just in like Contagion, like that movie, or Outbreak.
Yeah,
we'll see people get affected like this, and they're all actually going to die.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we would see if we represent the way mainstream media represents it. And it's unfortunate they have to do that. I wish they were more truthful. I wish they had a hope factor trying to help people. I also wish doctors were more persistent about how to help health-wise.
Well, they're
Like,
part of the medical and health boards. So if they do, they kind of get their stuff revoked.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. So it's like it's frustrating where like like the health code for them um, is wear mask, hide, sanitize your hands. Instead of like, you probably should eat this. You should probably take these vitamins daily. You should probably drink this much water. You should probably exercise, get your cardio in, and things that are effective. Or if doctors don't know much about it, I think doctors should really promote nutritionists and be like, go to this nutritionist, go to this coach, and help them find your health and diet. And I'm don't worry, I've seen some people who've decided to take initiative on their health to make sure they're eating healthier, taking their vitamins they need to take daily to help fight, to build their immune system to fight off viruses. But a lot of people think I just must wear a cloth around my face and I'm safe. You could be, you could not be. Happened in California. California made mandated masks. They spiked up. They spiked numbers up. So, like, is it the best way? I personally say I don't care if you wear a mask or not, but your immune system, your whole health in here should be your primary battle. Your primary fight should be what's going on in your body, how you keep your health, eat your vitamins, focus on your heart and liver health, respiratory health. Make sure this is good. Do your exercises. Eat the right foods, etc. This should be your battle. A mask, whether you believe a mask is great or a mask is okay, is still is a secondary weapon. Your primary weapon is what's going on in here, and that's how it should be focused on. What are you putting in your bodies? Are you helping your immune system to be a better fighter against any virus or disease? Because despite COVID-19 being the main source of virus right now or illness, there's still hundreds of other sicknesses that are around in our society, and it's like people forgot about those. So
Yeah, but that's a pretty interesting topic to kind of get into. However, I would like to say we are not doctors, and these are not advices that you should be following. And if you do ever get the chance to follow them, please talk to your physician about anything else moving forward with stuff like this. So this is just a conversation. But aside from that, bodybuilding.
ranting on about like COVID-19, you're gonna have like all these liberals coming after me, be like, "What the hell is wrong with this person?"
But why is he saying that? What's wrong with them? They're not going to care. A lot of people.
It's a conversation, people, and he's right. Talk to a doctor, but also if you can, try to get your doctor to promote you to a nutritionist to help with your body. Don't just follow a old pyramid style food chart. Sorry?
They still have that?
Yeah, in Canada they do. Like our dietitians in Alberta focus on this old pyramid food chart. So talk to your doctor. Hopefully you can advise to a right nutritionist, or if they don't have one, look for one that's going to really help you and find what's best for your body, how your body can combat against a virus or a sickness or whatever, or just be healthier as a person.
100%. Yep, 100%. Those are all some great advice. So listen well, everyone, if you're watching this. And when did you start working out, and what caused you to get into working out?
All right, so that's a fun one. This is a good conversation. Back in unlike these, I think a lot of now we have the podcasts are big now. These podcasts, you see them everywhere, and every 21-year-old bodybuilder now gets excited about trying to grow, and they see these podcasts, they get excited. Well, back in my day when I was a teenager, folks.
Back in our days, folks. Back in our days.
Yeah. We had these things called magazines. We did have the internet, but the internet was very limited when it came to bodybuilding and fitness.
The forums. So we had forums.
So we had magazines. You go to Walmart, you buy a magazine to learn how to exercise. So I was 13 years old, 12 or 13, and I started looking at these bodybuilders, And there is, I think it was Segi Kalev and PJ Braun and a couple of others back then that I was really admired by. And I kind of want to look at them. So I started working out, and I was stupid. Like, whatever preteen knows how to work out properly without a proper trainer, yeah, stupid. So I did a lot of self-teaching. I was reading magazines. I was trying to find protocols. And back in a lot of gyms, the old gyms back then, we had one in my school, had all the charts, these charts of exercises. Well, all these exercises help triceps. All these exercises help legs, et cetera, et cetera. So I tried to follow those charts, follow magazines, and I learned a lot from that. And then I grew more into high school, and I was still stupid. I was still a stupid kid because it was like, for me, it was like chest day, leg day kind of deal. And I didn't have proper nutrition. I didn't know what to eat properly. I didn't know, like, you had to eat all this chicken and all this rice every day. I didn't know potatoes was a great starch to have in your diet. And how sweet potatoes are awesome. I didn't know about this stuff. I was eating whatever I want. I was eating sandwiches. I was eating whatever my mom put on the table, greasy, cheesy, whatever dish. Tuna casserole, let's say, for example. So I didn't know what was going on. And it was just like, I was a typical teenager. And then it became 18, 19, I started really working out harder. At 17 years old, I got a membership at Gold's Gym, which was pretty awesome. And then I started working out more, asking questions, growing with people. And then, of course, I had my appendix rupture when I was 20. And things changed. And I got skinnier because I couldn't eat properly. I couldn't work out because for the first week you're not eating anything except like juice because you don't want to digest things down because you're in pain. And I couldn't work out because 8 weeks of healing. And so after that I started working out, and then about December 2013 I wanted to compete to my first show.
That was my first show.
Yeah, so I competed in May 2014. That was my first show, and I did naturally because I thought steroids are lame. Steroids are for pussies or for losers. And I thought that, like, even when I was a teenager, like, who takes steroids? And I was looking up to these big guys in these magazines who I never thought take steroids because I was told they're illegal. They're this. No one could take them because they're illegal. So that was a firm, right? That's
Drugs
a firm belief.
Okay.
Sorry?
Drugs are bad. Okay.
Drugs are bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did my first natural show and I looked like shit. And not because I was natural, but because I didn't follow my diet properly. I didn't follow my diet to a T. I was cheating. I was getting lazy. And I was being stupid. I felt like I was starving to death, like, because I had more of a cookie cutter kind of diet. Felt like, maybe, I don't know. Back then, now I do know it was kind of like weak, but back then I was like, I don't know. I probably should follow better because I probably wouldn't be like top notch in natural, but I wasn't, and because I wasn't following things properly. And even then, 2015, I did a natural show. I sucked too. I was stressed. I had some bad things going on. Lost my job, and I did a show after all that, and I looked stupid. I wish my coach at the time told me, no, don't do it, but whatever. So it was like, you look back those pictures and you're like, oh my Lord, why was I dumb? And so, like, if you're watching this as a newbie, please follow everything your coach says to a T on everything when it comes to your prep, because you don't want to look like a loser like I looked like on stage back in those days.
I've been doing that for a few years. It's this year I actually learned to just shut the fuck up and just do what they say.
Yeah. Just do it. Just do it. So in 2017, I got a coach in Florida, Carlos Rodriguez, and I did my first show on cycle, and it was my best look ever. I actually was lean. I actually had shreds and it felt good. I didn't get top placing by all means because I was still kind of small, And I'm 5'9", so a little taller for a light heavy at the time. And I was not eating that much. Like I was eating clean, but I was still like starving myself to death with these shows. And I did provincials that year as well. Got 11th in provincials, and I was 182.5 pounds, 5'9". And the judge's biggest critique is you're too small. And I was
Welcome
like,
to my life.
yeah, so I was like, okay. And then Carlos and I had it falling out, which by God's grace I was okay, because I found my next coach which was this big Russian in Edmonton named Anton, and he helped me grow a lot more. So 2017 June, I was 182.5 pounds on stage. Then I started working with Anton in November that year, and by the time I got on the stage October 2018, I was on stage at 200.8 pounds. So I gained around 18 pounds from stage weight from June 2017 to October 2018. And the difference is because the coaches in my past starved me to death to get shredded. Anton fed me like a champ. Like he fed me. And I didn't understand. I'm like, why am I eating this? Like I was questioning Anton. He's like, no, you need to eat. You need to eat. You're a bodybuilder. Eat. And I didn't get it.
Wait. Didn't have to like cut you off. Did he say it in like a Russian accent?
Yes, he did. He's very Russian. Yes. He's very Russian. You need to eat. You need to eat. Stop being a fucking pussy. You need to eat.
Dad.
Like that kind of stuff. Like that's what he was saying to me. And so I didn't know I could eat. I didn't know that I could eat this much food. And it was a whole different, because like my post workout was 3 bagels, a protein shake with 90 grams of cream of wheat. And I was like, that's a lot of calories. Are you sure? And he's like, just trust him, trust the process. And I became my best at that time. And I didn't know you can eat. And I started talking to more bodybuilders. They're like, oh yeah, you should eat while you're prepping. Like it's going to suck because you're just eating clean all the time. You'll get deprived at points too. We all do. But it was like a whole new experience. I'm like, I don't have to starve myself to death to get into show. No. And so it was a whole different experience for me. And I did nationals with Anton again in October 2019, and came in my best, biggest, 206 pounds on stage. But I did something stupid again. So
I
did not binge. No, I didn't get a tan.
You did it. I
didn't get the tan.
That's what I did.
So what I did, I just self-tanned because I'm cheap and I didn't want to pay $200 for a tan, right? I just self-tan, got 3 layers on me. I was darker, like of course I was darker, but getting underneath the stage lights, I whited out. I was Casper, and it lost me a lot of points. I was the only one I was one of the very few, or only one with glutes that were shredded, and I lost points because I didn't tan properly. And I got 3rd call out. And I don't remember exactly like what I should have been, but a lot of people said I should have been top 5 because I was very shredded. And like I wish, but no, I failed that because I decided not to spend extra money to get the tan in. And yeah. So yeah, it was so great show, great experience. And then I binged after the prejudging because I was pissed off with myself. So I took the I went to this Italian restaurant, binged, and then next morning sent pics to my coach for finals, and he's like, you look drier. You look much drier. You look more lean today than you were yesterday. I was like, Anton, I have something to tell you. He's like, you binged, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, I did. And even though I looked better than I did the day before. Yeah. So that was a good thing. Don't recommend what I did. It was just a good thing that happened.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And now I'm getting ready for another show with a new coach. Nothing wrong with Anton. Anton and I had a great communication. We had a great time. We're good friends still. We're still good friends. It was just a new opportunity. and it was a positive. So I went from one positive experience with the coach to a new positive experience. And I'm working with Ian Valier, and we're going to see what happens when it comes to getting on stage for November.
Which one are you doing?
Alberta Open, because I have to requalify due to my third call out. And the Toronto Pro Amateur. Sorry, I cannot think properly.
It's okay. It's been a long week.
It has. I'm moving right now to a new place, so there's a lot going on in my head.
You got yourself all settled in and whatnot?
No. I still have a lot to move.
Well, the weekend's just around the corner. Hopefully you don't have clients all set up for the weekends. And then that way you can kind of get some work done and stuff. But it's pretty. Hopefully, if currently for me, I have 2 plans because I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm doing 2 shows. That makes it look like it's 4, but it's 2. But I'm doing 2 shows. I'm doing the NPC Universe. If that gets canceled, I'll just do the Team U. But if the Team U gets, not the Team U. If the Olympia Amateur gets canceled, I'll just stick with the NPC Universe. So I'm kind of playing it like really smart here because I don't think both of them are going to get canceled. God forbid.
I hope they don't get canceled.
Yeah, I'm fucking pissed because I'm literally in like the best condition I've ever been, and I'm only 12 weeks out.
Yeah, you look incredible. Like in your pictures, I was like, "Oh, he's doing really well for how far out he is."
Yeah, I just got to keep that momentum going. I'm trying to get myself down to like 174, 176, and then I'm looking to definitely just like make weight, but like carb up throughout before weigh-in, if that makes sense. So that way it gives me like a full 48 to 24 hours to really fill everything out. And now when I step on stage, it's just like, so it'll look pretty sick. But I'm pretty excited for it. I think the last thing I forgot to mention that was out of the things you talked about was how'd you get into the massage thing?
Oh, yes. Well, I wanted to help people because I try to be helpful. I wanted to benefit people. I wanted to help people in health and their wellness to increase the opportunities to be better as people. So I decided to go to massage, and it was great opportunity to help me grow, understanding health, the body, a lot of anatomy and physiology. Like we took a lot of anatomy and physiology, so it's just cool how to understand how the whole body works. And then the guy helped athletes, people with clinical conditions, and it's a great opportunity. And I help people with that with massage because I care about people. I really do. Despite that people might not think I care because I say blunt things.
I picked that up earlier when you said that. I was just like, oh, this is going to be interesting because this is kind of the reason why I even have this. It doesn't help that your physique is so built and so muscular. So when you're blunt and you say the things that you want, it actually speaks a lot more volume than somebody who was not your size.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a bit of a weird game changer in a sense. But go on.
Yeah. So because I care about people, like, so I'm honest. Because I believe in self-accountability. I believe in accountability. I believe as a good friend, you should hold your friends accountable.
Definitely.
I think like when your friends like does something stupid, like, hey dude, you did something stupid, like maybe you should think better and not do that again. I think that's more loving than just ignoring it because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And I might hurt my friends' feelings here and there, but eventually they know that was the best thing that he can get here because it's about accountability. Like holding your friends accountable and holding the people you care about as accountable is a good thing, and it helps people to grow. Like feeling some shame is not a bad thing. We live in a society where like shame is bad, shame is terrible. No, shame is a good thing. I'm not saying all shame is good, but a lot of shame is good. When you feel wrong about something you did because you know it was wrong, that's good shame, and it'll help you become more accountable to what you want to do in the future and how you're going to resolve it and how you're going to look at yourself and how to handle it. And I think as a person like who wants to help people, like through massage, even though it's not psychological, there's benefits psychological when you help people hold accountable. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you're drinking this much water. Make sure you're exercising. Make sure you do all these stretches. Make sure you do your home care therapy to so you don't go back into this state. And when you go psychological, like I was talking about self-accountability, you're giving an opportunity to people to think, like, how can I make that situation better? Because we live in a society that wants to blame the other person, wants to blame someone else, wants to blame Donald Trump. And and you're not taking yourself like, wait. Stop blaming others. What can I do that will make myself better? What can I do to make the situation better for me? So when you do have a friend that recognizes your situation and they're seeing you're going the wrong path, you should be thankful for that friend if they come up to you and be like, hey, that's probably not the best idea. That's not a good idea. You should do this instead. And the end result, it's going to be way better than what you're thinking previously. You got to thank that friend because that friend held you accountable. That friend was willing to love you enough to give you a better opportunity to figure out a situation. So I'm a big believer in self-accountability. I'm a big believer in accountability. I'm a big believer if you care about your friends, tell them straight up honestly, because you're gonna see more respect for each other, more integrity, and more structure in your friendship.
Yeah, 100%. And this way you can kind of actually get along with them a lot better because you're just an overall honest person.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to keep my circles of friends very small and limited because I feel like once you have like a huge group of friends, it's just so much to take in. I mean, they're all not going to be like, hey, man, you got to be responsible, you got to be accountable, you got to do all this stuff. They're just going to be like, all right, dude, you do what you want. But keeping that circle very limited kind of gives you much of a clear thought, I would say, in terms of friendship, because they know if you did something wrong, they're just like, listen, dude, don't do that. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I actually, a few of my friends kind of like, it's the prep has been going it's been going great, but we all have our needs here and there. So a few of my friends are just like, Paul, stop thinking with your dick. Focus on the prep. I'm just like, yeah, I know. So I kind of just been listening to them and kind of not trying to like go out and do my own thing. So I feel like once I get to that moment where it's just like I stop focusing on the prep and just focusing on something else, I lose sight of what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to do that. But the good thing is they keep me accountable from making any silly mistakes such as that. So that helps very greatly. But yeah, man, it's been pretty great. We covered everything that we could possibly think of. I'm sure there's more. Do you have anything that you want to say towards like the audience that are looking, like let's say like an advice, something that they can take out of all of this from you as a person and throughout your experience?
It's like a Candace Owens segment at the end of her show where like give 2 minutes of the best advice you can give to the people.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what she does in her show. I think that's awesome.
That's gold.
My advice is, as I said before, have accountability, grow, learn yourself, have opportunities to think critically and how you can be better as a person. Don't rush into a narrative to just follow. Study it. Be a critical thinker about it. Research about it. Talk to your friends that are in your good circles. I'm not saying like just an average friend, but know the friend that you're going to talk to that will be honest and strictly strategic in what they're going to say in the element of the situation.
100%.
So have that accountability. Accountability is such an important thing. And I think the quote that we should be saying is make self-accountability great again. Welcome to North America.
Yeah. But I mean, I 100% agree. It's just now in today's society, it's something that's lackluster and nobody wants to like be like, okay, it's my fault. I need to fix this. They're just like, all right, I'm going to move on or just blame somebody else.
And not saying I'm perfect at it, because I'll be honest, sometimes I do blame the finger on the other person. Sometimes I say, oh, my life sucks because of this and that. And I'm not perfect in saying this, but I can say that we all need to do it. I think we all can grow better in our self-accountability. And some people are better than others. But it's not like I'm not just rebuking other people. I'm rebuking myself. I could be better with many things. And that, like, what can I do better in a situation? Like when you get in an argument, what can you do better? Sometimes you get an argument, you know you're right, but how you present it is wrong because you start insulting people, you start lowering them, you start attacking them, and then you just lost the argument because you start putting yourself in this lower realm of things instead of handling it in a proper debate format, or how to be really critical about how you're placing the objects, the facts to present to the person that's opposing your views. And you can blame the other person. Oh, this person is so stupid, they're not listening to me. But then you can realize you can't change the other person. But then you take yourself, hold yourself back, and you look at yourself, you're like, maybe I could have done this better. And that could be a better element.
Yeah, and it's perfect. And that's it. So thank you for coming aboard. I'm sure it took us a while to kind of get this going. I